In the single stick subsystem, I wanted to take a broad overview of individual Pekiti-Tirsia single stick techniques from beginning level, mid-level, and advanced level techniques and bring them down into a format that a beginning student could understand. So I developed a nomenclature for naming the various angles of attack. Therefore, when a student went into the middle and advanced technique, we'd all be speaking the same language. It would be easy for the student to develop skill levels in the basic subcomponents of the technique. When he got into advanced technique, he would put these subcomponents together, string them together in names that he could recognize, and it'd be very easy for him to learn the advanced techniques. The basic 5 attacks I originally learned were a 1 downward diagonal to the collarbone, 2 downward diagonal backhand to the collarbone, 3 was an uppercut to the knee, 4 was an uppercut to the knee, both forehand and backhand, and your 5 was a thrust arising up into the prostate gland. Advanced techniques have different targets. If he had a weapon, your primary target is his weapon hand. Your secondary target is his eyes, and your tertiary target, it would be his lead leg. So now the student's going to concentrate on just taking out that weapon hand on 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you move your stick completely through the target, we call that a fluid attack. If it stops on the target and recovers, we call that a broken attack. And your broken attack automatically gives you access to the eyes. If you go around the target and through, that would be a circular attack, and a circular attack will finish up taking out his knee in the 5 attack subsystem. Thank you. Now, your basic strikes would be a forehand, a backhand, and a forehand, and a backhand. And then whatever is not a 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the subsystem we call X. For instance, a jab would be an X, or what in our system we call a watique, or a flat of the blade hit, would be an X. So you could add that X factor into your strikes. Normally when you first learn the system, a forehand comes from the right shoulder and a backhand comes from the left shoulder. But what happens if someone is open for a backhand strike and your stick is on your right shoulder? You're not going to take the time to move it to your left shoulder. So the advanced strikes would teach you how to hit forehand and backhand from either shoulder. So therefore the nomenclature of the subsystem from the right shoulder to be a forward 1. Striking on a 1 from the left shoulder, that would be a reverse 1 because you're striking to the same angle. A basic 2 would be from the left shoulder. A reverse 2 would be from the right shoulder because you're cutting from the same angle. A forward 3 would be from the right shoulder, but a reverse 3 would come from the left shoulder with a hit or a bait on this side to bridge. A forward 4 would come from the left shoulder. A reverse 4 would come from the right shoulder. And again, they're broken into fluid attack going through the target, or a broken attack which hits the target and then stabs the secondary target, or a circular attack which goes around the target and through to break a tertiary target. You're having the students learn these 4 basic angles plus a forward and reverse angle. When they get the advanced techniques, we'll just superimpose the theory of the advanced technique over these 4 basic angles. Therefore, they'll have an idea of the advanced theory. What I mean by that is this. For instance, if Greg is coming at me with a fluid 1 and 2, you're going to start the student basically with doing the same thing he does. Then you're going to reverse that where I'm still doing 1 and 2, but I'm doing a 2 for his 1 and a 1 for his 2. Where he would come in with 1, I'd strike him on 2. He'd come in on 2, I'd strike him on 1, using a side step to evade his attack. These we call reverse angles. I'm still doing 1 and 2, but I'm doing it reverse of him. If I were to do what we call a half beat, I'll use a broken strike to counter his fluid strike. You notice during the fluid strikes, if we're both doing the same thing, there are gaps. If we're going 1 and 2, you can hear the gap there. So therefore, I'm going to put a thrust in between those gaps with the broken strike. So I'll strike and thrust, strike and thrust. And these strikes are, strike as soon as he passes, I'll let my broken return into the eyes. There's my broken, in this case a reverse 2, and I'll return into the eyes. He's striking on 1, I'm striking on reversed 1, and then in the broken attack return back into his eyes. We also have what we call third beats and quarter beats, where we'll break the entries down finer and finer, doing more and more strikes for each one of his. And that gives you a basic understanding of a small taste of the 5-attack subsystem.